Hello guys, I'm not single, I've actually got a wife and a kid, but you can call me Excoundrel, and today we're going to be talking about 5 OP picks that can help you climb the ranked ladder. Now, if you think you've seen some content like this before, I can assure you, you have not. I have not shamelessly ripped this off from anywhere, just like that channel has never shamelessly ripped off anybody else. So, let's get into the question of the day. Which champion do you think would make the worst game show host? Leave your answers down in the comments below. I would love to read all of them, and I'll heart every single one. I promise you, but I won't do it. Okay, let's get into the picks. Just kidding, guys, but our first pick, of course, is Tryndamere. No, also just kidding. My first pick is Alistar. I will talk about why in a second, but I also just want to say I will actually heart all of your comments. Every single comment on this video, I'm giving it a heart. You leave a comment, it's getting a heart. Trust me, all of you deserve it because you're amazing people and I love each and every one of you. You are just fantastic and you've really made my life very special this year, so thank you so much. And also, sorry pro guides, I was just like hardcore memeing you at the start. I don't mean it. Okay, so let's talk about Alistar. I think Alistar is just the best support in the game right now. He kind of fell out a little bit with the dominance of Lulu because Lulu was a really, really good pick into Alistar in the laning phase. But now that Lulu's been nerfed and we don't see as much Lulu jinx, Alistar has kind of come back as this absolutely insane support. You just saw in that clip just now, you know, it was ridiculous how much damage Alistar can tank when he hits level 5. His ultimate is beyond broken. And he has such good zoning potential, even though my jungler Chief can't smite, and I did a great job of zoning away the Malphite in this clip, Chief, I'm just saying. But irrespective of that, you know, he's got such good teamfight presence. It's really difficult to play into an Alistar, especially if you've got this combo with the Yasuo as well. Like the Alistar-Yasuo combo right now is super, super strong. And like I said, he's just very, very obnoxious to play into. Like I am just like single-handedly zoning Corki away in this fight right now with my ultimate. And that's one of the things that I think makes Alistar super strong, especially because he combos so nicely with Zeke's Herald. But also because a lot of the game rotates around very early team fights. Like, a lot of the games are won and lost when you are fighting at Dragon, you're level 5, and Alistar really comes online at level 5. The reason I think that he has solo impact is because I think there are very few supports that have the agency that Alistar has. And when I say agency, for those of you that don't really understand what I mean when I say that, agency is like the ability to do things yourself. Like to make plays that impact the game by yourself. And Alistar is one of the supports, and mainly because he isn't an enchanter, he's one of the supports that can actually have agency in games, set up fights, change the course of team fights, change the course of the game with roams. And I think really that makes Alistar incredibly strong. Like just the ability to catch someone out, to be able to like tank damage and allow your team to catch up. I think that makes Alistar a very, very special pick in the meta right now. So as support mains, you should be rejoicing. I genuinely do believe that you have a pick in your arsenal that is, if not one of the most influential picks in the game right now. Alistar is very, very strong. Okay, let's talk about our second pick, which is going to be Yasuo. Believe it or not, most people will probably be thinking, well, Excoundrel, didn't you used to hate Yasuo? Didn't you think he was like used to be pretty bad? Yeah, I mean, I always thought Yasuo was a little more team dependent than some other carries, but this patch is really where we're seeing Yasuo start to shine. The Blade of the Ruin King buffs combined with the buffs that Yasuo had a couple of patches ago, as well as some of the nerfs that are happening across the board, it has made Yasuo a super strong pick. Plus, I think really now we are seeing people start to get to grips with Yasuo. We're really starting to see people kind of like figure him out and play him to the highest level possible. And I think with some of the other picks that you're going to see in this list, it's just, I think just some of the other meta picks that exist right now. Like I talked about Alistar, he's a great combination with Yasuo. Another pick that you'll see a little bit later on is another really good combination with Yasuo. The knockups being so prevalent and with the game being so teamfight orientated, I think Yasuo is just in a really, really good spot overall, and that makes him super strong. So in fact, if there is a Yasuo pick and it comes from like a well-known Yasuo one trick or a high-ranked Yasuo player, I immediately worry because I think like he's got the most outplay potential in the game. I think if you've got a person who can play Yasuo to the absolute best level that they can, he can be an absolute monster in solo queue. And he's one of the few carries, I think, that can have 1v9 potential. You know, also, I talked a lot about agency. Yasuo is one of those picks that has a lot of agency. And this is a game that I played against Yasuo, and he just, like, off the back of a Malphite engage, got a pentakill. Yasuo, I do think, is one of the most OP picks this patch, if you can play him well. That's the caveat that I'm going to add. You can't just pick Yasuo randomly, because he does require someone to play him at a good level. I did just mention a pick that I thought comboed with Yasuo really well, and look, I might be a bit biased because I like playing this guy in the Baron lane, but I think Malphite is one of the Baron laners that has the most agency in the game. I think his engage is one of the biggest tools in terms of turning the tide of team fights. Something that I think is massively underrated from Malphite is that his third ability slows the attack speed of people that you hit with it. So, you know, especially versus the likes of high attack speed carries in the AD carry role, or even things like Yasuo that rely on attack speed, Malphite can have really good nullifying effects on these people. He has loads of good matchups in the Baron lane, especially if you just go Liandry's Torment first, and then you can go either into full AP if you need it, or you can go into full tank if you need it. This game, I went Liandry's Torment into basically full tank. I went Liandry's into Randuin's Omen because there was so many AD champions on the enemy team that relied on attack speed, plus there was a Twisted Fate. I thought that I was going to get massive benefit out of that. Like, I hit a full ground slam there, and that was able to slow down the attack speed of loads of people. And this ultimate right here is, you know, a good example. We were losing this game, by the way, guys. We were losing this game, but some good team fights where I kind of came back and was able to impact the game more than the Camille was, you know, a reason why I think Malphite is such a high tier pick in the Baron lane at this point in time. I know that on the Pro Guides variant, which by the way, the Pro Guides variant is not bad. I'm not flaming the Pro Guides variant. On the Pro Guides variant, they put Darius, and I don't disagree. I think Darius is a strong Baron laner, but I think in terms of individual impact, I actually think Malphite can have more. I think Malphite is much more influential at early dragon fights. I think Malphite is much more influential in the late game because of his pick potential. I think he can go tanky, which is something that you don't get from a lot of champions in Wild Rift right now, at least not many popular champions or meta champions in Wild Rift. And so I think that Malphite, if you want to have a pick that can genuinely impact almost any game that he's in and has loads of pretty strong lane matchups into the Baron lane, I do genuinely think Malphite is a strong pick. Something that you may have noticed as well is in the bottom left-hand corner, I've been throwing in the rank 1 builds for like a lot of the champions that we have on this list. Don't always like 100% follow the rank 1 builds, especially for Malphite. One of the things that I also think makes Malphite really good is that he's really flexible in his build path and his rune choice. Not many champions can say that in the current meta, where the rune choice and the builds are as flexible as Malphite's. And I think that's one of the reasons as well that makes him a super OP pick on this patch. Okay, we're gonna like go into the jungle a little bit here, and I have gone for Evelynn. Now, this might surprise you that, you know, I put Shyvana at the highest tier of my tier list, and Shyvana I do think is one of the best junglers, if not just the best jungler. But Shyvana does, you know, rely on snowballing Drake. She does require a little bit of team coordination to make right, and I think that Evelynn does not. Evelynn is a jungler right now who's in a really strong space, was not particularly affected by the Liandry's nerf, so didn't get hit too much by the 20 AP that dropped off. And also is just in a space in the meta right now where you can snowball really hard. She's got good objective control. And I think she's got really good ganks as well post 5. And considering you can power farm to level 5 relatively easily on most junglers right now, I do genuinely think Evelynn is just super strong. She's got so much agency as a jungler. She's one of the strongest gankers in terms of especially post 5 ganking as well. And it doesn't take long to get to level 5 either. Plus, you know, you have the ability to just delete one person, especially if you're ahead. You can literally just run someone down in a team fight, and it's very difficult if you're in a strong position for them to actually deal with you. So I think Evelynn is up there as one of the best junglers, and again, as I talked about it, it's just about the kind of the impact that she has in team fights, the agency that she has around neutral objectives. Evelynn is just, in my opinion, one of the best junglers in the meta just for that reason alone. And I think in terms of solo queue as well, you don't have to rely on anybody to kind of make Evelynn good. Evelynn is good in her own right, and she doesn't really need anyone to help facilitate her. She can kind of do everything by herself, and there are no issues around that. So I think, yeah, Evelynn for me is an absolute top tier pick right now, especially if you're looking to climb solo queue. She has, I think, the most individual impact out of almost any jungler in the game right now. She is one of those kind of feast or famine junglers. If you do get behind, it can be very difficult to come back from. But if you play her at a very good level, then I think, you know, she's super strong. And another pick that I think has some of the most agency in the game is Akali. I can't play Akali very well, neither can I play Yasuo, and I really wish I could. And I actually said on stream, I did stream for the first time yesterday, by the way, guys, before my internet went out. I have actually moved back to my own house because my parents' internet went out due to a storm, which is why the giveaway has been slightly delayed. The draw results will happen tomorrow instead of Thursday. Obviously, they were supposed to happen on Thursday, but my internet went out, and that meant it delayed my entire content production for 2 days, and now I'm casting the LEC today, so I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll probably do the draw tonight. I will make sure that anybody that has entered post-Thursday are not included. But yeah, I will do that. But back to Akali. Akali, very similar to Yasuo. She's got a lot of agency. She wasn't particularly particularly hurt by the Liandry's nerf either. A little bit for a lot of people who do like to go Liandry's as a first item on the Akali, but overall she's still in a super strong spot. She's an incredibly oppressive laner to play against, and I think has much more teamfight impact than a lot of the other Baron laners, like things like Darius. You know, she has the ability to just blow up someone in a teamfight if you're in a strong spot. And I think if you're a good Akali player, you get really rewarded in solo queue and in the meta right now, because she's one of those champions that can just take over games. So I just think that Akali, for the same reason as Yasuo, she's super strong in team fights in this current meta. You know, very team fight heavy. I think she can absolutely just take over games when played to the highest level. And I think if you have a good Akali player on your game, you're already set to a situation that you're kind of favored in solo queue for that reason as well. So I think that Akali, just because of the same reason as Yasuo, like these assassin heavy metas are really strong right now, and I think Akali and Yasuo are two of the best at doing so. Okay, well, that's my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you agree. If you don't agree, then please let me know, and we can discuss it in the comments, where I'm going to heart every single one of them, literally hearting every single comment. So yeah, there we go. Thank you guys for watching. I know it was a bit of a meme at the start. I hope it wasn't too on the nose, and I'll see you soon.